Welcome to English Meow. Do you want to speak English? Do you want to understand people when they speak English? Do you want to feel good when you talk to someone in English? In this video, I will tell you how people talk in English. I will also tell you how you can talk in English too. It is simple, it is possible, and it is fun. Stay with me. Let us start. When you are learning English, one of the most important skills to develop is how to think and talk in English. Many people find it difficult to speak naturally in English because they first think in their own language and then translate their thoughts into English. This can slow you down and make your speaking sound unnatural. The key to speaking English more naturally is to start thinking directly in English. It may seem difficult at first, but with practice, it becomes easier and more automatic. The first step in learning to think in English is to expose yourself to the language as much as possible. Surrounding yourself with English through listening, reading, and speaking will help your brain get used to the patterns of the language. When you listen to English songs, watch English movies, or read English books, try to pay attention to the words, phrases, and sentences that are used. This helps you understand how people naturally express themselves in English. Another important step is to practice thinking in English during everyday activities. For example, when you are at home, try to think about what you are doing in English. If you are cleaning, you might think, I am cleaning the floor, or I need to wash the dishes. This practice helps you connect English words to actions and things around you, making the language feel more familiar. The more you practice thinking in English, the more natural it will become. It's also helpful to talk to yourself in English. Many people feel shy about speaking in English, but speaking to yourself is a great way to practice. You can talk about your day, describe what you see, or even practice new vocabulary. For example, if you are reading a book, try to summarize the story in your mind using English. This helps you think quickly in English and improves your speaking skills. As you practice thinking in English, you will start to notice that it becomes easier to express your thoughts in English. You won't need to translate from your first language, and you will be able to speak more fluently. It may take some time, but the more you practice, the faster you will improve. Learning to think in English is also about learning to use the right words and phrases. In your first language, you might use different expressions or idioms, but in English, certain phrases are more common. For example, in English, people often say, "How are you?" to ask someone about their well-being, while in other languages, the question may be different. By learning the phrases that native speakers use, you will sound more natural and be better understood. As you continue to practice thinking in English, it's important to focus on speaking in everyday situations. The more you use English in real conversations, the easier it will be to think and talk in English naturally. It can be challenging at first, but with regular practice, you'll begin to feel more comfortable. One way to practice speaking in English is to find a language partner. You can look for a person who is also learning English, or even a native speaker who is willing to practice with you. Many language exchange apps and websites make it easy to find someone to talk to. Having regular conversations, even if they are short, will help you think in English without translating from your first language. You don't need to worry about making mistakes. Just focus on communicating and getting your message across. Another way to improve your speaking skills is by practicing speaking aloud on your own. Even if you don't have a language partner, you can still practice speaking English every day. Try to talk about your day or describe what you see around you. For example, you could say, I am sitting on the sofa, or I am looking at my phone. This simple exercise will help you become more comfortable with speaking and thinking in English. It's important to speak as often as possible, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. When you practice speaking, it's also helpful to pay attention to how native speakers talk. You can listen to English podcasts, watch TV shows, or listen to audiobooks. As you listen, try to notice how people use words and phrases in different situations. For example, in casual conversations, people often use short, informal phrases like, "What's up?" or "How's it going?" These expressions are common in everyday English, and learning them will help you sound more natural when you speak. Another way to improve your speaking skills is by using shadowing techniques. This means repeating what you hear as quickly as possible after a native speaker. You can listen to a short clip of audio and then try to repeat the sentences exactly as you hear them. This technique helps improve your pronunciation, fluency, and listening skills. It also trains your brain to think in English more quickly, which is important for fluent speaking. While practicing speaking and listening, it's important to focus on pronunciation. Many learners focus on grammar and vocabulary, but pronunciation is also key to sounding natural. You don't need to have a perfect accent, but speaking clearly will help others understand you. You can practice pronunciation by listening closely to how native speakers pronounce words and then repeating them. When learning to think and talk in English, it's also essential to improve your vocabulary. Having a good vocabulary helps you express yourself clearly and understand others better. If you don't know the words you need, it can be hard to communicate effectively. This is why it's important to learn new words every day and practice using them in sentences. One effective way to build your vocabulary is by reading books articles, or even social media posts in English. The more you read, the more words you will encounter. If you come across a word you don't know, try to guess its meaning from the context. If you are still unsure, look it up in a dictionary or use an online translation tool. After learning a new word, try to use it in your speaking and writing to help remember it. You can also make vocabulary lists. Write down new words you learn and try to use them in sentences. It's helpful to group words by topic, such as words related to travel, food, or emotions. This way, when you need to talk about a specific topic, you'll have a list of relevant words ready to use. Another way to improve your vocabulary is by watching English language TV shows and movies. This helps you hear words used in natural conversation, and you can see how they are used in context. Pay attention to the different ways words are pronounced and try to repeat them to practice your pronunciation. If you hear a word you don't understand, pause the video and look it up. Then, try to use that word in your next conversation. Using flashcards is another popular method for learning vocabulary. You can create flashcards with the word on one side and the definition or a picture on the other. There are also many apps available that let you make digital flashcards, making it easy to practice vocabulary on the go. Regularly review your flashcards to keep the words fresh in your memory. While building your vocabulary is important, it's also necessary to practice using the words you learn in sentences. For example, if you learn the word excited, try saying, "I am excited to go to the concert," or "She looks excited about her new job." This helps you understand how the word fits into the sentence structure and makes it easier to use when you speak. Building your vocabulary will also help you understand different accents and dialects. English is spoken in many countries, and each region has its own way of pronouncing words. For example, British English, American English, and Australian English all have slight differences in pronunciation and vocabulary. By learning a variety of words and listening to different accents, you will become more comfortable understanding English, no matter where it's spoken. As you continue to improve your English, it's important to focus on sentence structure and grammar. A good understanding of grammar helps you communicate clearly and correctly. When you speak or write using the right sentence structure and grammar rules allows you to express your thoughts more effectively. This is especially true when you're trying to think and speak in English without translating from your native language. Start by mastering the basics of sentence structure. In English, a simple sentence usually follows the subject plus verb plus object pattern. For example, I subject, eat verb, breakfast, object. Once you feel comfortable with simple sentences, you can move on to more complex structures, like questions or negative sentences. For instance, do you like pizza? Question, or I don't like coffee. Negative sentence. Understanding how to form different types of sentences will give you the flexibility to express a variety of ideas in English. Another important aspect of grammar is verb tenses. In English, verb tenses show when an action happens. For example, the present simple tense is used for things that are true now or regularly, like I walk to work every day. The past tense is used for actions that happened in the past, like she visited her friend yesterday. Learning and practicing the different verb tenses will help you speak about events that happen in different times, which is important when you need to describe things or tell stories. It's also helpful to practice using prepositions. Prepositions like in, on, at, with, and by help to show the relationship between people, places, and things in a sentence. For example, the book is on the table, or I am talking with my friend. Prepositions can be tricky because in some cases there is no direct translation between languages. However, by practicing and listening to native speakers, you will get a better sense of how prepositions are used in different contexts. In addition to sentence structure and grammar, it's important to work on your pronunciation. Even if you know a lot of vocabulary and grammar, speaking clearly is essential to being understood. To improve your pronunciation, listen carefully to how native speakers say words and repeat them. You can also use apps or websites that focus on pronunciation practice. Record yourself speaking and compare it to native speakers to identify areas where you can improve. When practicing speaking, focus on stress and intonation. Stress refers to the emphasis placed on certain words in a sentence. For example, in the sentence, I want to go to the park, the word want is usually stressed. Intonation refers to the rise and fall of your voice as you speak. Native speakers often use different intonation patterns to express emotions or to make statements sound more natural. By practicing stress and intonation, you will sound more like a native speaker and make your speech easier to understand. Another important aspect of learning to think and talk in English is understanding how to express emotions and opinions. In daily conversation, people often share their feelings, thoughts, and ideas, and being able to do this in English is crucial. Whether you are telling someone about your day, discussing a movie, or giving your opinion on something, learning to express emotions and opinions clearly will make your communication more natural. One way to express emotions in English is by using adjectives. For example, instead of simply saying, I feel good, you can say, I feel happy, or I feel excited. There are many adjectives in English that describe how we feel, such as sad, angry, nervous, surprised, bored, and relaxed. The more adjectives you know, the better you will be able to express a variety of emotions in different situations. You can also use phrases to talk about how you feel. For example, I'm in a bad mood, or I'm feeling down, are common ways to express that you are sad or upset. On the other hand, if you are feeling happy, you might say, I'm in a good mood, or I'm feeling great. These phrases will help you sound more natural when talking about your emotions in English. In addition to emotions, it's important to practice expressing opinions. Being able to share your thoughts or opinions about topics is essential in conversations, and it shows that you can engage in discussions. To express your opinion, you can use phrases like, I think, I believe, in my opinion, or I feel that. For example, I think this movie is really good. Or, in my opinion, it's better to stay home than go out tonight. These phrases help you clearly communicate your thoughts and show that you are actively participating in the conversation. It's also useful to learn how to agree or disagree with others in English. For example, if someone says, I love pizza, you can agree by saying, I agree, pizza is amazing. Or, me too, I love pizza. If you disagree, you can say, I don't agree, or I'm not sure about that. It's important to learn polite ways to express disagreement as well. For instance, I see your point, but I think, or I understand, but I would prefer. These phrases help you participate in conversations without causing any misunderstandings. One of the most powerful ways to improve your speaking and thinking in English is to practice with others. The more you speak with people, the more natural your English will become. Find opportunities to talk to people in English, whether it's with friends, language partners, or even through online communities. By practicing regularly, you will begin to think more easily in English and speak more confidently. Finally, when learning to think and talk in English, don't forget the importance of practice and persistence. Language learning is a long-term journey, and it takes time to become fluent. However, by continuously exposing yourself to English and practicing every day, you will see improvement. There will be challenges along the way, but every step you take will bring you closer to your goal. One way to stay motivated is to track your progress. Set small goals for yourself, like learning 10 new words a week or having a 5-minute conversation in English every day. Keep a journal of your learning experiences and note any new things you have learned. When you look back at how far you've come, it will encourage you to continue. Remember that learning a language is not about being perfect. It's normal to make mistakes, and making mistakes is part of the learning process. The important thing is to keep trying and not be discouraged by errors. Native speakers also make mistakes, so don't worry if you do. Instead, focus on the fact that you are improving and gaining new skills. You can also increase your confidence by practicing with people who are supportive. Don't worry if you don't speak perfectly at first. It's more important to focus on communication. Over time, you will improve your fluency and start thinking in English more easily. If you ever feel frustrated, remind yourself that language learning is a gradual process, and even small improvements are something to be proud of. Another tip is to embrace English in your daily life. Try changing the language settings on your phone or computer to English. This will force you to read and understand more English every day, even in small ways. You can also listen to English podcasts or audiobooks while doing household chores or exercising. By surrounding yourself with English, you will naturally start thinking in English more often. Lastly, be patient with yourself. The more you practice speaking and thinking in English, the more comfortable you will become. Even if you feel like you're not progressing quickly enough, remember that language learning is not a race. Celebrate each small achievement and stay motivated by focusing on the progress you have made. In conclusion, learning to think and talk in English takes time, practice, and dedication. By using the strategies outlined in this article, such as listening to English, practicing speaking, building your vocabulary, and understanding grammar, you will improve your ability to think and speak naturally in English. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and most importantly, enjoy the learning process. Every step you take will bring you closer to your goal of speaking English with confidence.